Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 34 of the Forsaken Council. I can't believe it's 34. It feels like just yesterday that we were all here for the first episode, but here we are, 34 shows later. But yeah, it's been an interesting raid, guys, hasn't it? It's been quite an interesting weekend.
So in the next episode, this can run for U.S. president. TFC 2016, please.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Well, yeah. So it's been an interesting weekend, and I do apologise for anyone. I'm not going to be on camera tonight. I'm having a bit of a bad hair day.
Yes, use that vein.
Yeah, that vein. Yeah, out of goo, shall I say? So, but you've got the wonderful Ren on camera and the wonderful B. Ryan on camera, so that should be enough. Mark is going to run through some wonderful slides, some he prepared earlier. I'll lock on to you now, Mark.
Okay.
Take it away, buddy.
Okay, so TSA, as it says, episode 34, okay, October 18th, 2016. So what do we have for you tonight then? So let's have a quick look, shall we? So this slide back contains, okay, so we've got the post-raid review, we've got the FMU content, Blitz 2, it's back. The XP weekend, bug fixes and tune in, and then some whole base stats from Ren. So a good bit of a chat about to come through. Let's have a look at the post-raid review stuff, shall we? So, simple slide to start with: thumbs up or thumbs down. So I thought we'd just get a bit of analysis from across the from the admins there, and a little bit from chat as well. Indicate in the chat if you wouldn't mind a thumbs up, thumbs down, or and across while we chat amongst ourselves. If I say thumbs up from Ren, yeah, I thought that'd be the case. Brian, thumbs up as well. George, if you're still alive.
Solid thumbs up.
Solid thumbs up.
Thoroughly.
Stu, mate.
Thumbs up from me.
Liam, your thoughts?
I'm a middle of the road guy right now. Thumbs up for me personally, but for the game community as a whole, I don't know. I'd say a thumbs down. So
for the game community as a whole,
I would think that's another separate. A whole different discussion. Yeah. We could split
that.
that.
I find it very hard to call the community a whole because there's so many different opinions in the community about everything.
Well,
True.
I mean,
true.
there was a good point made about the C set and requiring an 88 range torpedo instead of say that other one.
Agreed.
But I mean, like I said, me personally, I loved it. As a whole, there were some gaps. Yes. I mean, which one do we want to discuss first?
Well, I was just looking in the chat here. So looking at the thumbs up, thumb down from the chat, it's about 50-50, and you can't vote twice. Stop cheating. Okay then. And you can't put like multiple thumbs down.
Did you guys see the poll that I put in our page?
I've got it in the slides, mate. It's in the slides.
Oh, okay.
So we'll come to that. Okay.
Shut up.
Yeah. So thumbs up, thumb down. For me personally, it was a thumbs up because I actually enjoyed the targets. It was skillful. So for me personally, it was enjoyable, and I mentioned that in the page, and I obviously did a couple of streams and that sort of stuff, as did other people. But okay, let's move on to the next slide anyway. So just there's a thumbs up, thumbs down. That's general.
I wanted to say something. I mean,
Yeah,
I think last time I remember having fun in a raid, actually enjoying hitting the target, was last summer 2015, when we had the River Borbas series. And I remember I had fun tag teaming, like doing co-op on the elite target with my alliance. And then after that, after I adjusted to the Scourge, I actually had fun hitting the elite Scourge with Banshees. But Banshees were very rare in the game at that point, and so most people just hated it, I know. So, but after that, I didn't have fun really in any raid. They were just too boring, too repetitive. And this time, I actually liked hitting the 105s.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I find this one more enjoyable, but then that's because you were rewarded by your skill, which I like, and that sort of stuff. And it reminded me, as I said, I think at the weekend, it reminded me of a raid that's like 2 or 3 years ago, and that sort of stuff. It brought back some stuff that I enjoyed. Ren, this is your slide, mate. Do you want to cover this one?
Oh, first of all, thanks to everyone who posted the information that made this chart possible. I mean, we know Kickside takes away the leaderboard as soon as the raid ends in each world, so it's hard to collect reliable data. But that was from the players, a lot of players, and each dot there is a player. I cut off the top 1,000 because they would screw the distribution too much, because number one had like almost 500,000 points, right? So removing pretty much everyone who was top 1,000 had over 100 million points. And so starting after that, so the top dot on the line there is position 1,002 or 1,002nd spot, whatever. So you see approximately 5,600 people scored enough for top 3 prizes and ship tokens. And I'm an old school player, so I remember when Raid was like only 4 people per sector got a prize, got the ship. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So when I looked at 9,000 people scored enough for ship, weapon, and special, that you divide that by 500, it's far more than 4 per sector, right? So, I think enough people per sector got the top prizes to say, yeah, that's good. I mean, I don't really think everyone in the game should be winning the top prizes. I mean, otherwise there would be no merit, no challenge, no fun, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but what still concerns me is only 18,000 players. I mean, there's a very hard drop after that, where only 18,000 players scored enough for even a Tiger Shark or a Neptune, right? And so that's still a very low participation rate overall, which keeps me concerned about the level of vitality of the game.
And that's the true figure, isn't it? To be honest, to me, of people competing in the game, doesn't matter how many people have started, because there's tons, 39,000 players got at least 500 points. Great. That means they had an attempt at, or had a look at it, or just thought, I'll have a play. But actually, to achieve something that's worthwhile to go into the next stage, it's Tiger Sharks. We know that. And actually, only 18,000 out of the 60-odd thousand, that's one in 3, has only actually got to a level where, unless they didn't need to because they've already got it and they sits one out. There's still be some of those, and we don't know what those are yet. But then that's only 1 in 3 people who've actually got enough points to get themselves, hopefully, then something they can start building ready for the next raid.
Yeah. So and that's an average. So if you do the cutoff right there, people with more than 1.85 million points who got something that allows them to progress in the game, right? That's about 35 people per sector. It's not a big number.
Mm-hmm.
Right? 35 people per sector got Tiger Shark, a Neptune, or better. It's not a lot.
I find the numbers on whole quite concerning. Even, I mean, I know the numbers of people taking part in raids has been on a decline for years, but to see it as low as that is really quite worrying.
Yeah. Now the silver lining is I did a similar chart last month, and when you go and see how many people participated, actually this month was a tiny bit better than last month. I mean, so good news is it didn't keep dropping, because from the last Apollo raid in August to the raid in September, there was a massive drop, right? And now this month kind of stabilized, or even nudged up a little bit. Now I wonder how much of that it's because the format was horrible or whatever, because I like the format this month, or how much of that is just because a lot of players, and I respect that, a lot of players just don't like subs, period, full stop, and they'll start raiding again in January when it's not subs anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it, honestly. I think a lot of people really, really, really dislike driving subs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
maybe
can we say that maybe 5,000 people are not participating because it's subs, or 10,000? I don't know, right? I know in my alliances about 15-20% of the players were not willing to engage in a sub raid last month. This month was a little bit better, but still, people just don't like it.
Yeah, but this month it actually made it a little bit worse, because you really did have to drive subs. I mean, last time, if you had the subs, if you had the subs, you might not have had the subs because you hate subs, but if you had the subs, you could still at least blitz it and kind of bull rush.
Yes and no, right, George? I mean, last month, without the cavitation fields with different timers and whatnot, I found that a lot more demanding of my attention than this time just being careful of how I drive.
Really?
I don't know.
I thought last month was I just clicked and went, It was. I mean, I was done in 3 minutes for each target. This one I actually had to drive. I mean, I think if you disliked subs, this month would probably be worse than last month because you really did have to know how to drive subs this month.
And also, anyone that maybe won the Hellwraith last month and built it ready for this month is maybe why the numbers didn't really drop as opposed to last month's part.
But also, from my perspective as well, if someone's halfway building through their Furies in slow time, they're going to be looking at the spike going, oh, it's another Conqueror hull. I haven't finished building this one yet. Well, I don't really need to. And it was just brought up in chat as well. Don't forget, going back a few raids, five or six raids ago, a lot of people just go out and hit one target simply because if there is a glitch or something goes wrong in the raid, then Kixie do the obvious thing sometimes, and they just give people X, Y, and Z, 1 million points, 2 million points, or a prize. That's happened twice before.
Mm-hmm.
So go hit one target. It means you started your raid, and then you're on the side of caution. If they're going to give anything out, then you're included in that little prize pack.
Yeah, and that's why, to me, the absolute cutoff for participation should actually be whoever scored 120,000 points or more, because that was the price of the 1 hour ship build token, which was the cheapest price you could get.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So whoever scored less than that didn't get anything out of the raid.
It's safe to say that, I would say it's safe to say that the Spite is probably the weakest Conqueror hull we've seen in the last few months too. So maybe there's a lot of players that are just thinking, do you know what, that's just one I don't need.
I think the stats on it, the most confusing stats for a third edition of this latest run. It's got some confusing defense
and
stats.
I don't think it's the weakest, Liam. I mean, depending on where you are, I mean, if you go in a base that relies a lot on radioactive and ballistic damage and doesn't do penetrating or, it's actually a good call. I think it's part of that rock, paper, scissors dynamic, right?
Well, but I don't know. I mean, because everyone, when the first new Conqueror hull came out, which was a Revenge, it was weak to Deadeye. So everyone built Deadeyes, and then when the next hull came out, people threw in a few APOCs. Now my base still runs that format, with radioactive up front on guard and stuff. So for me, my base already stopped this hull, and in the preview server it was made of glass, and they said they buffed it, but the buffs that they put on it were barely noticeable in terms of what it was used for. So
right,
I don't know.
I think the point was that the the prize itself, the Spite and the special and weapon were kind of bland as compared to the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, because we were already going, hey, the blade might be better.
I guess. Of course, each thing has like a use, and like Ren said, that whole rock paper scissors thing it is still there. For anyone that didn't build their base to stop revenges and came into it a bit late, then they might have issues with this whole,
Yeah, and I think at some point in time, I mean, whenever Kixeye finishes the set, I mean, let's say the set of Conquerors right now is these 5 hulls. Mm-hmm. At some point, they're going to step up to the next level of power creep and say, okay, now we're going to start releasing a new family of hulls that will start a new cycle, and it's going to have a new power level. And right now we haven't seen that. So the problem now is this guy's the last one coming to the party, so he feels weaker, but it's actually just another piece in the same puzzle of having multiple Conqueror hulls to mix and match.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, obviously, they're not going to stick with his Bloodthirst forever, are they? I thought we were going to see one more, but I guess...
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just speculating here.
Well, we're missing the ballistic, aren't we? But then again, we're starting to run out of time, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Because if we do want another base defense hull, then that'll be coming, obviously, there's probably coming in December's hull raid, which means we've only got next month to do something.
Well, December's also a hull raid overall, so I could possibly see them putting out both.
Yeah,
they said one Conqueror, one Defender. They could probably still get it out in December.
Hey, in December's raid, mate, we need to see the new hull for the next raid cycle.
Right, but
if they follow their logic, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, since it's a hull raid and end of the year and everything, I would not put it past them to put that in there as well at double the cost again, so that way you have 2.
Or they take one of the planned hulls and throw it into a campaign like last time.
TLC.
And yeah,
Or because it's a whole raid, they also do what they did in the past too, which is release some sort of limited edition of a regular hull.
Mm-hmm.
We had a special Punisher in August when it was like a whole raid,
which I've got on built and still haven't used.
We just love speculating here, don't we?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, next slide.
What if?
Come on, next slide. Let's go. So there we go. Players by volume. I thought I'd just throw this one in there with the basic stats. So that's it. As a pie chart, as a percentage, then basically that gives you a visual straight away of the individuals. Then, if you took those as a whole, 100% of the community, basically, that's the chunk that you're looking at there. So ignoring those people who got over 100 million, Ren, as you've said. So
which is only 1,000 people.
Which was only 1,000, yeah. So. So we had the figures before. This is just a visual of that. So, yeah, interesting. So, over half the community basically didn't score enough.
Oh, and that's half of people who scored something, right? I mean, there's one guy in my alliance who scored 0. He didn't participate at all.
So this is our participants.
So it's not even in that number.
Yeah, so this is participants, okay, then that actually started the raid, and over half of them didn't get enough to get something constructive. So they might have got a token, I suppose, for a 1-hour build token or something, but they wouldn't have got anything that's meaningful, like a submarine or something like that. Okay, this one's yours as well, Ren.
Yeah, so that was the poll. I put some people didn't like the options, but I wanted to keep it simple, so I gave the options we saw in game so far. I didn't leave it open for people to create their own options that they would like to see. But to me, it's clear that, I mean, other than bacon, most people prefer what we saw this month, right? 434 people. It's more than the polls I saw in forum. So I think from the polls I've seen, that's, I think, the one with the bigger sample. So it's good. So 434 people liked this month, as opposed to only 54 preferred September's format over this month. So I think if I were to say anything to Kixeye, would be first, stick with it. Stick with the format, right? And maybe add to it. Maybe bring some targets that are for surface skirmish ships, or, you know, so the people who hate subs can have something to do, right? And then if it needs to be done, I don't know, I mean, write code so people with subs can't engage with those targets. I don't know. Right?
Do you know, I was going to say the same thing. Do you know what, I think for the next cycle then, because it was talked about in the first, prior to the first cycle, I think if they want to bring back the tier 6 target from the first round, and then leave this tier 6 target in from this round, so that gives you the 2 tier 6s if you choose to. You can either get one or the other, which is worth the same amount of points. If you get the combined 2, you get a bonus point. So then that appeases everybody. You haven't got to get both. You can go with one or the other, still get the same amount of points, but if you choose to go for both, you get a little bonus. That would work nicely. And then on the C sets, simple, level lock it. Nobody can go in there under a certain level. Just level lock it and make it down to a certain.
I want to be careful. Don't level lock tier C. I mean, fleet lock tier C, right?
Fleet lock it, lock it to something that I can't go in there with my whole race.
You know, like the ships have tiers, and now the targets have tiers. So if that's the tier 3 target, right? So make it so only fleets containing tiers 3, 2, 1 ships can engage. If there's one single tier 4 ship, don't let it engage.
Yeah,
do it like that. You know,
it must be possible to do. They've made the zones work now, so it must be able to be achieved somehow.
Just that thermal on the C sets, they have to do that.
Yeah, and they can step the thermal down then, because it's not going to be, you know. Otherwise, I could just split up my 4 hell wraiths, and I could just go in there and just auto each one.
Yeah,
they have no purpose.
And now the funny thing on that poll that I wanted to point out is absolutely nobody chose the TLC targets, right? That we saw just before the raid.
Spooky that.
So that's another clear message. Everyone hates that one, so don't ever bring it back again, please.
Again. You know, you guys said, you know, no one likes the level locking on the C set, and what you guys are proposing, just from a programming perspective, sounds like such a headache. I was wondering something more along the lines of, you know what, don't level lock it, don't do anything, lower the stuff, but what you do is, after you score, say, 3 million points, you get a very, very big reduction in points from the C set, because that would be a really simple way to program it in. That way, if I'm autoing it with my Hell Race, the minute I hit 3 million points, I get 100 points off of each one instead of whatever it is.
Yeah, but still, until everyone who
me...
can auto scores 3 million points, that means guys who actually need those targets won't be able to find them on the map.
What's that going to be? The first couple hours of the raid?
No.
I mean, honestly, look, given the last S target, I would much rather go through that S target to get 3 million points in 8 to 10 minutes than sit trying to find C targets and autoing them for 3,000 points.
That's you. But again, like I said, I mean, it's hard to guess what the community is going to make. So I don't know.
Right. But I mean, the other options are just a lot of coding for not a lot of return. I'm trying to think of something simple that KickSci could actually do and help us,
Well, but again, the coding is not my problem. I just thought,
it's not our problem. The problem is
the ships have a tier number. The targets have a tier number. If ship tier is greater than target tier, don't let it engage. To me, it's like one comparison. I don't see how hard that is.
So I can go in with Kudas and Hellwraiths? I mean, Kudas and Twisters?
Like I said, you check ship per ship, right? Any ship in the fleet above the level, don't let it engage. It's 5 checks, 1 per slot in the fleet, whatever.
So you check both. I see what you mean. Okay, I got it.
You check per ship, not per fleet level. Per ship level.
You're checking the ship and the weapon for each slot.
Not the weapon. I don't care about the weapon. Just the ship.
Well,
you could go with Kudas. You could go with Kudas and yes.
And Twisters.
You could. Yes.
Well, it's just the same.
But then it goes back to what you said. I mean, then it's better if you have the Charon or the Twister. Then you're going to score a lot more points going on the B set or the A set, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could just get Charons in Tier 4 and the
I don't like complex. KickSci has enough, they complicate so much stuff by themselves. I don't want to give them a complex answer. I'd rather have them something simple and go, you know what, at this point,
No, if it's to be simple, leave as is and just make sure everyone gets the Charon or the sticks. That's simple. I mean,
I would like, see, that would be a really good response is to get the Charons out into something very simple to get. Like
right now it's Tier 4. Right now it's Tier 4 in FM, and it was also in the past 4 months on every raid. I think it's been there.
So drop it to Tier 3 this time.
Yeah, drop it to tier 3 for a month.
Remember that knock-on effect I was saying on Saturday Night Show? Just drop things down one stage at a time, just so it just gets easier and easier. Yep. And those that have already got it, they've had it for several months by that time. After that, no one cares.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, let's move on, guys.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay, so here we go. Let's have a look at FM content. So this is the first one then, the explosive upgrade. Somebody want to talk through the stats and that sort of stuff and their views?
Well, the explosive up, just like the other upgrade specials, it just adds a percentage, and this one gives explosive damage buff by plus 10%.
I like the fact you can stack it with as many as you like. So if you have got
you can, as many as you like.
It's got the up thing, so that's another one that you can. And 10% is quite decent, isn't it? Now, however, for the first one, I take it's multiplicative again, so the second one's not worth 10% of the original figure.
The problem I find with this special is, what are you going to use this special? What are you going to replace?
I mean, I could replace splash damage. I mean, I like splash damage, but it's something I could replace and have explosive damage.
I'm not using a splash upgrade. I think I'm using siege targeting free, siege battery free. I can't remember what else, engines, blah blah blah. But I can't think of one of those specials that I'd like to replace for this. It's just not worth it.
Well, and also how much of a difference is it going to make? Like how let's have a look at Vendettas, right? When they get their volley in place, I don't think their DPS is lacking.
What you gotta think is there any situation where the extra 10% would make you overcome a deflection in a ship that you're likely to face?
Defense. Yeah, I was thinking base defense.
Yeah. So and I didn't have the time to think about it, but some ships have some intermediate explosive deflection, right? So maybe the 10% is just what you need to do damage.
What about things a bit more multi-dimensional then? What about mega hulls on modules?
Yeah.
On the mortars?
Could be.
Mm-hmm. Well, or even other weapons entirely. Like, what necessarily? This doesn't have to be for mortars, you know.
Oh, mortars or rockets. I mean, what else does explosive damage primarily?
Yeah, of course. I mean, but you could use that's what I mean. Rockets as well. Like we're thinking in line of mortars, but could I see Furies full of rockets running this? Maybe.
Oh, even the
some
Vendetta
Furies
with
full of
the
Pandos
coaxial.
the other day.
Don't give people ideas.
I saw a Fury full of Pandos just the other day. It was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I was
like
going to
them,
say as
yeah.
well, what about Citadels for your FM fleet? I mean, I'm struggling to use up all my specials of my Citadels because I just don't need to use
You
all.
don't need it. Yeah, exactly.
But I could use this explosive upgrade and get a lot more damage.
That's the case where my Citadels, they have 3 splash upgrades in them.
Me too.
So-
I've just pumped it full of upgrades. The rest of the things I'm not bothered with.
So maybe I can drop a splash upgrade now for the explosive upgrade and get a bit more damage along with the splash.
Yeah. Which I won't do because the first volley already destroys the whole island, so there's no
It's a
reason
shame.
for me to do
It's
that.
a shame that this doesn't have like a 5% speed boost as well, because then it would make it really, really interesting to add. Because Citadels
Oh,
are
that would make it nice, yeah.
that would change
be awesome.
That would be all. That would just make that the icing on the cake for that particular special, and I would then most definitely consider 1 or 2 of those on my Citadels instead.
But then you'd have to rename the special.
Yeah, it's one of those
What would you
combos,
call
then, isn't it? Oh, I don't know.
Ampacity upgrade. Oh.
No, stop it. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, the explosive system already gives you projectile speed and spread and splash. So I mean, they could just keep it the same name.
Yeah,
Just give me some projectile speed. That would be great.
give it some love. Anyway, okay. So here we go then. This one's going to cause some debate, isn't it? Who wants to start?
This one's interesting.
Brian, take over.
Yeah, Brian's got the math on this one.
I'm going to mute
All
the
right,
mic.
let's go.
This is going to go off. This is going to go off for a while. This one.
I got this spreadsheet, you guys.
Yeah, I'll go get coffee. I'll be right back.
Yeah, the reason I didn't talk for the first 20 minutes is George kept bugging me with questions about, well, this versus the siege targeting versus the countermeasure, and I made a freaking spreadsheet and I sent it to him, and I hope he's looking at it.
Hey, if I have someone else that'll do the math for me instead of me having to slog through it, by all means, man. I'll come up with the ideas and you can do the math.
You're welcome. So I was initially just going to say how god-awful this was, and then Ren thankfully reminded me that there were ships in base defense, and you have to account for those. So if I scroll up just a little bit, the closest comparison that we have to this is to Siege Targeting 3, Retroed R15, of course, because you should. And did a bunch of math. This is 7.33% better versus ships. I'm just accounting for the scoria on the new ship, the Spite, because it's the most recent thing that we have. 7.33% better versus ships, 4.26% worse versus buildings. So if the ships are a little over a third or more of the total health of the base, this is good. But then you have to do all sorts of weird like calculations and guesswork on the ships in the base versus the buildings and what level the turrets are at. And if it's got 7 or more level 7 turrets, siege targeting's better. I don't care. I just want to put siege targeting and blow up some buildings. But Ren did bring up a fair point. This is better versus ships. But overall, I think a lot of just people are going to stick with siege targeting and not even care. Of note, higher weapon weight too, so be careful about that.
Yeah,
high weapon weight
good
percent.
point.
Go ahead, Ren.
I was just going to say, I mean, if you're going up against any siege target, like the dubs or the mines, I use my Punishers for that, and they have siege targeting, and then, of course, it makes no sense to change for this one, because I'll be losing 17% building damage for 10% reload. Is not worth it. Now, on a Conqueror hull, if you're going to hit bases, and you look at some defenders, like if people are using Conquerors or Vanquishers in their defense, they all have a lot of health points, then actually gaining 10% reload at the same time you gain building damage, it's worth it, especially for the Fury and the Revenge, because their base weapons have to go through walls. So it's probably a good idea to have either siege targeting or the reloader. And I think the reloader, like Brian said, it's a good trade-off if the guard is made up of ships with very high health, like the Vanquisher.
See, I see this like as being very useful in PvE more so than PvP, but like I guess a large part of this really depends on the weapon you're using and if you're meeting that minimum reload. You know, if you're getting down to that very low figure.
And if you're using heavy weapons, look, it's plus 25%. That's considerable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you've got a hull that's got lots of weapons on it, you might not. What's the standard one? Have you got it still up there, Brian? Have you?
Standard one of what?
The siege targeting.
I think it's 19%.
Right, okay.
I'll take a look.
Siege targeting 3 is 17%.
17.
How much is CML3?
Pulling up the game right now to check. George?
The last combos have been less as a combined. I must admit they were quite good. I can't remember the last one that was came out last month. But it was actually quite.
CML3 gives you 20% reload, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're looking at the weapon weight.
Its overall weight is what I'm thinking about.
1, 2. Where the hell's 3?
Awkwardly placed.
Bear in mind as well that like I guess there could be a large amount of players that don't have similar specials. Like it's been a while since since those specials come out. So I guess it's also an option for those that still don't have like a full set of prints. You know?
Some things don't always come back in the FM, do they? We know that, and they miss them out, and this is what they're going to get.
I mean, it's an option overall.
Bottom line, this is a niche special, right? It's not a special that's going to be broadly used by a whole bunch of people in a whole bunch of fleets.
Well, yeah, it's like an overall special, really. I mean, the choice is there if you want to use it.
Go, Brian.
If you don't want to use it, don't use it.
Go on,
CM Loader 3 is 10% weapon weight. And again, this is better if you don't have siege targeting 3, because I think it's been a while since it was last offered.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good way for everyone to, get ready.
Yeah.
Okay. We done that one? Happy?
Yep. Let's move on.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So here we go. The first one of the war plating one. What is it? Bizarre name. Can I just? No. Let's flip through them. Okay. We'll look at the statistics and then we'll talk about them. I think it's the simplest answer. So, war plating one, because it's going to cause some discussions. This one I know it is because I'm quite disgusted with this, but anyway. So taking advantage of specialized fittings, okay, the light armor provides high health per ton. Does it? Okay, traditional counterparts reduces damage dealt by the splash weapons. May only be equipped to conquer a hull. Let's move forward. Okay, and so there we go. Splash damage reduction 5% and 33 minutes fixed time in 20 seconds. So you've gone over 1 coin instantly just by adding one of those on there. Weight, la-di-la-di-da, armor points 2,500. Great, okay. Tier 2.5, interesting statistic. Either tier 2 or tier 3. Why is it tier 2.5?
There's a lot of weapons that are 4.5, 3.5, 2.5. A whole bunch of them are like that. That's
how many of them were introduced after the kick started this tier system, though? Like there's no excuse for this anymore, guys.
There isn't an excuse. It's either tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, or tier 6. Don't give us halves because it's bloody stupid.
They might be doing it. They might be doing it for something else coming later.
Well, don't give me half ships because that's daft as well. We've got enough ships as it is. Anyway, moving on. So that's the war plating 1. War plating 2 then. Same blurb, okay, and this time it's armor points 3,500. Reasonably heavy again. Splash damage reductions 8%, okay. And then just over 3/4 an hour fix. Yeah, again, it's just hipped over that bit because a couple of these fitted, going through a whole repair time in a raid format, great, but you've got that extra 1 minute again and a few seconds. So yet again, they've tipped it just over 1 coin, or that'd be 2 coins obviously for that. That's really, really annoying. So we go, war plating 3, here we go. So this one is an hour and 00 seconds. Why couldn't it be 59 minutes and, 59 seconds? It would be very nice, wouldn't it? But it isn't, okay? So if you want to instant fit this, 1 hour, it equates to 2 coins. It's not.
Now, here's a funny comparison, okay? Bulkhead, River Bulkhead, repairs in 1 hour and 8 minutes. So if you're going to coin, it's exactly the same 3 coins.
Yeah, and what's the armor points for that?
Almost 6,400. Compared to 4,500.
The thing is, though, right? Here's the thing about this armor is because it says it's a whole class conqueror. then its armor points are completely irrelevant. Because if you look at the armor value points of all the Conqueror hulls we currently have, they're that high anyway that it's almost it's absolutely a moot point. It's completely
very.
And who wants to add? Let's just say you put 6 of these on to make it sort of worthwhile. Great, or sort of say 5 of them. Okay, and so you're going to get an extra 20,000 on your 100,000 already. But look how many hours fix you just added.
Did I miss something, or where 1 hour is not 2 coins? I kept hearing 3 coins being tossed around and such.
Sorry, it is. You're right. So up to 29 minutes and 59 seconds is 1 coin. But obviously, it's 2 coins. Yeah, you're right. It's a 59 minutes and 59 seconds is 2 coins.
Yeah, because of 1 second they make it 3 coins, and honestly, that stinks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so at an hour flat, it's 3 coins and not 2?
It is 3. Yes, it is. A flat hour. Now, clearly, this is all base flats, and as Cuts just said, that's not R&D, and that's obviously not officers and that sort of stuff. I get that, but that's not the point.
That doesn't matter.
What's the point? I mean, you build a Spite or a Fury, and the Spite loaded with weapons and everything repairs in 30 minutes. Now I have the brilliant idea of adding 3 of these armor to the Spite, and now instead of repairing 30 minutes, it's 3 hours and 30 minutes. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense versus the benefit I'm getting, which, like Liam said, is 15% more armor overall and 30% less splash damage.
Well, here's the thing where they have it as a locked thing for a hull class. Okay, the repair modifier should be similar to the hull you're putting it on, and if you're limiting it to Conqueror hulls, I do not want to see a 0.8 modifier on the damn thing. There is no reason whatsoever for that at all. If this was for, say, Citadels, I could understand it. It fits in with the rest of the armor that is available at 0.8. That's great. This is crap.
Yeah. If you wanted to build like a tank spotter and Spite and just wanted to add more armor to it, and somehow you didn't want to put anti-mortars on there, you just put on the coaxial firestorm, because that's 1800 armor for 4 minutes 12, something like the repair efficiency of that weapon matched the repair efficiency of the hull, so it wasn't that bad. Actually, it was fantastic. I wish they would do that more with these sorts of things.
It's the best one in the game, I believe.
Yeah, I've got a couple on my FM tank.
Yeah, I mean, for a tank, that's that's the go-to at the moment. I do not understand the theory behind this at all, because it is locked by hull class. There is absolutely zero reason to add that much repair to it for that hull class.
My concern with this was
have they done that before? And the answer is yes. They did that to the thermonuclear launcher, where it added a little bit of armor and it took an hour to repair, and nobody was building it. And then they went, they went back there and reviewed it, and now repairs in 10 minutes, which, like you said, makes sense with the modifiers of the hull. So yeah, it's 30 minutes base. I had 10 minutes. Okay, I'll do that. Right.
Well, here's the other thing too. With regular armor, you put it on, say, a Citadel or a Gamma or something. You can get modifiers through resistances to make that armor even more worthwhile. So, you're not getting just 4,500 in defense, plus your 90% of, say, missile defense. It brings it up to, I don't know how many thousands of armor points.
Well, the only use I can see...
that you can't do with Conquerors.
Go on, Stu.
I was going to say, the only use I can see for this would be some kind of a prep fleet where you can't use the Firestorm Coaxial for the extra armor points. But even then, I'm still hesitant to use it because of how much repair you'll get. I mean, for instance, if I built a Retribution prep fleet, and I wanted to tank them up so high, or as high as I physically could with the armor, but I didn't want too many weapons on there for the damage of the buildings. I wanted to get a couple of guard ships out, something like that. Then that would be probably the viable option. But the problem with that, again, is the repair. I mean, I don't want to have to spend the rest of the night repairing.
But see, I keep asking
myself. Bang on. I mean, let's put a price on that. I mean, Stu is bang on. I mean, in a bunch of situations, my base barely killed Furies. Okay, 5 Furies. My base kills most of the Fury fleets, but just barely. So now somebody comes in and they add 3 of these armors per Fury. They will make in. But now instead of having, well, with the weapons, it's about an hour repair per fury, right? So instead of having 5-hour repairs, you're going to have 20 hours.
You're back to the old fixed times.
20 hours instead of 5. So
look,
instead of spending 10 coins, now you're going to spend 40 coins to repair your fleet.
Go on, Liam. What are you saying, mate?
I've lost my chain of thought now.
I'll jump in.
yeah, carry on.
I was just gonna say, if you put 4 of them on there, like Stu said, you're looking at 4 hours. That's another 8 coins just for one hull.
Look, let's put it this way, right? In the old days, if you had a 5% benefit over somebody else, that was the winning fleet. 5% would get you in, and as Ren's just said there, if you were getting in and you were just scraping through, you managed to get 2 ships to survive and get into the back, or you were just dying just before you got there, someone's going to slam this one and go, I'm going to make it now. I don't give a damn if it costs me 8 coins more. I'm going to go and slap that base. That's fine. But hopefully this isn't going to be a trend, because that's going to put us right back in the market of 20-hour fixes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my worry. That's worry bead number 1. Worry bead number 2. We're already being funneled, and I hate this bit. We're already being funneled down the 5-tier system. We're now going to be funneled again down into what we can fit on those 5 tiers. So I'm being funneled so much where very soon we're being streamlined down a flow chart, and the output will be a certain type of hull with a certain type of fitment and a certain type of weapon, and all the frickin' hulls are all going to look the same, and where's the game gone? You may just give me win the hull, it's already built, because I haven't got there's no imagination then left in the game, which is why 90% of the people play it, because the I got one over you concept is why most people play this game.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get any argument on this panel, Mark, because I'll tell you right now, that is definitely one of the draws that I had.
Yeah, I really don't like it's the second time within the same month where they release a special or something that only goes in a class. I don't like that. I
don't like it either. I agree with everything Mark just said, and I can't believe I just said that.
and the price tag, for me, my own view, just the price tag attached to it. If someone wants to break my base, then they can load 5 Furies with 4 of these each and suck up the repair time. But then someone's basically attaching a price tag to breaking my base, which is just completely excessive and just.
No, I agree. I mean, if somebody comes in, breaks my base, and they have 20 hours of repairs or 18 after doing it. Hey, I'm gonna be laughing.
But then is that now the trend? Does that mean that we're going to have to make our fleets lads just so we can crack bases? Do you know what I mean? Is that are we basically spiraling into the high-end, high-cost side of the game again?
Ren, do us a favour, mate. Go back through the reason why they are going down these tiered systems, or down these funnels. Sorry, not tiered, the funnels.
The classes.
The reason. The classes and the streams. Because I know you've got the answer to it. Maybe you said about it earlier on about the builds.
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So yeah. I think one of the reasons they created the classes is to make it more clear to players what they should use where. Right, and also to make it easier, because Battle Pirates became a very complex game with so many options of everything, weapons, specials, armors, and everything, that a lot of people were wasting a lot of shipyard time building wrong stuff, and then complaining later that they could never get caught up because everything took forever to build. So their approach to fixing it was a dual approach, where A, they reduced build times, and this armor notwithstanding, right? But they reduce build times, and B, they make it more clear what tool you have to use to beat something. But that's where I think now they're overshooting, is because one thing is to give you an indication. Hey, that's an assault target. That's an assault hull. Maybe you should use that, right? Right? Wink, wink. And now it's getting past that point, saying no. Thou shalt not build that in any other class. And that's where the bullshit really gets bad. I don't like it.
You want to turn players off. That's the thing. You direct them what to do. This is supposed to be a battle pirates, a thinker. One person winning over the other person. One person doing better than the other person. One person outsmarting the other person.
And one of the key ways of doing that is by coming up with original builds that are not the vanilla type.
And what was the first thing? We had a launcher fleet, and then someone went and threw some mortars on it and smashed everybody.
Yeah.
Because I was outside the box thinking. And everyone went, Michael.
I think players respond better to, I think as a whole we respond better to maybe a suggested path as opposed to a forced road, I mean, Kickstarter kind of forcing us down this one linear direction, saying you have to walk down this path. Whereas instead of just shoving a sign up and saying, "Hey, this way is a good way to go," And I think that's where we need to be, because players need that freedom. Well, we don't need that feeling of being boxed in, caged in, and told what to do.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let's move on then. We've done it to death, I think, and we can carry it on the forums afterwards. But I agree with everybody's points, and we are
simple show of hands. Sorry, Mark. Simple show of hands. I mean, anyone in the panel thinks this armor is a good idea?
No.
I could use it on.
I would have done if it wasn't class related and it didn't have the stupid repair time attached to it.
Yeah, to me, the repair time is the killer factor there.
I'll say no, but I did put my hand up. I don't have a camera.
Okay.
Can I just get a 1 hour ship build token instead of this? I get to tier 5, I just turn it in and give me a 1 hour ship build token, please.
Yeah, exactly. And there you go. Someone just said in the chat as well that launcher MCXs, that threw a curveball for everybody, didn't it? They were fun, weren't they, for a while?
Yep.
So don't take the initiative away from the player. That's why we're here. All right? Just don't do it. Really hacks me off. Anyway, so Blitz 2, okay? Blitz 2, I give it a number 2 because it's the second time it's turned up. All right, then. So basically, yeah, Blitz has returned for its second showing. Doesn't say that in the release, but I just put it in as well. But it's back for the 102s and 109s only, okay? The Blitz is in for the first week, okay? So this week only. But however, this may be extended based on feedback. I've not heard any negative feedback as yet. I know there are a few little snags and that sort of stuff, but in general, I see it as a positive. Let's hope it stays as far as I'm concerned. We roll it out to somewhere else in the game as well. Thoughts, guys?
I hope it stays forever.
I love it. I mean, again, it's a great way for Kickstarter to make money without forcing anybody to spend. It's entirely optional, right?
I know plenty of players that have used this facility that didn't coin in the FM before, and they just went, "Oh, I like this idea," and they didn't mind doing it.
And I want to see that working, and I actually want to see that extended to the monthly rates.
Well, if I could have done that for tier 6, I'd have been laughing.
Yeah, I like it. I just wish it wasn't
anything
3.
No, actually, tier 6, I mean, at some point, if you're doing it for 1 or 2 coins, and the Blitz has a minimum price, so at some point, it's not going to be worth blitzing coin-wise, but it may still be
10 minutes.
A choice time-wise. You know what I mean?
10 minutes. I mean, you want to do 6, that's an hour. I can just go click, 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 click. I can walk off and go watch telly with the wife. God forbid.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's it. So there you go. Blitz 2 is back. Enjoy it. Let's hope it stays. VXP weekend. So runtime yet again. Okay, I'll put it into UK talk. Okay, and so it's Friday the 21st through to Monday the 24th, 9 a.m. till 9 a.m. PDT time, which is UK 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Okay, so VXP as standard for salvages is doubled then. The rest of it is just routine, boring stuff. You can read it later. And the interesting point, the last bit then basically says then the similar to the September raid target. Bear that in mind. Not this one, the previous one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cavitator fields will be there.
So stand by. Those that wanted to go back to the old format, well, enjoy yourself on the VXP weekend.
Now, I'm going to say something because every month there's at least 5 people who go on our page and say, "Whoa, the one or whatever is not spawning anymore. What happened?" Right? And just remember, the top level targets, they stop spawning on Saturday evening. They're only there for 36 hours.
Yes.
In addition, they have a weird spawn timer in a kind of a 3-hour cycle.
Yes, it is as well. Yeah.
Or at least I hope they changed it. But the last time I remember, it was, let's say it starts at noon, so it'll spawn at noon, and then it'll spawn at 12:30, and then it'll spawn at 1, and then it'll spawn at 1:30. And then it takes a break until 3. It does not spawn on 2 and 2:30. And then the cycle repeats starting at 3.
And then people go, has it stopped already? And then they go, nope, give it an hour and it'll be back again, sort of stuff, yeah. So there you go. VXP, not very much change. It's the same format. Just bear in mind then, so September's raid targets, just bear that, just think about that before you go into one. Or watch somebody else make a fool of themselves, up to you. Bug fixes and tuning. Some really good ones.
Go on the high level targets. Suicide, even if you don't coin, suicide some fleets. Slow repair them overnight. Do it again. It's the best way of scoring. Do that with the salty dogs and your gold.
I coin that sort of stuff, right? So what I didn't spend on the raid, I'm now going to spend on fixing, getting my boats up to speed. So I'm quite content doing that. So anyway, so bug fixing tuning. We've only got a few here. So then here we go. So here's the first one, visual thing then. So fix an issue where the medals lost that would not be displayed in the battle log for base combat. Okay, this is fixed for base recording as well. Basically, note then that those past logged battles that you've had, those will not be fixed retrospectively. So the visual will not be fixed retrospectively. Okay, but that's apparently fixed on this upgrade. So made a correction. So this one you should like. Okay, a lot of people have been whinging about this for a long, long time. But basically, you can have more than 25 players in your Facebook friends on the bottom screen again. So above 25, it says there.
For people with IT background, Facebook changed their API, the API that kicks like calls from their code to bring the friend list, and the change made it so just a limited number of friends were coming over. So now KixEye changed their call to the API to load the whole list. That's what happened.
Yeah, so that's been wanted for a long time. A lot of people have been blaming one lot of people, and some people have been blaming the others. Clearly, it had to be a Facebook issue. It turns out to be a Facebook issue, and the way the thing's been set up, but it's been adjusted, and now it should be back to normal again, which is great news. So fix an issue where an endless loading screen could occur after purchasing gold on the armor and congregate. Is it congregate?
Congregate.
Yeah, congregate platform. So those people that came in those later formats, obviously that's those gaming formats. Okay. Basically, you could get the red ship, and there was another one, the goldish color one, wasn't there, which proved that you
were Marauders.
The Marauders,
the golden Marauder.
Yeah. Prove you came on that game format. Okay. So basically, there was an endless load screen that's supposed to be fixed as well. And then added some missing header text for some of the stats listed in the rocket module there. So I don't have that module myself. So if anybody's got that on their Magaho, be interesting to see what was missing before. But PK, you're in the chat. I know you're, mate. I don't know what was missing. I don't know if you've noticed anything different, mate, because you've got the rocket and I know you've got the ship. So.
And the last one, yes.
Oh, the last one's brilliant, is it? So the Alliance search facility at last should now be working. You should be able to research everybody.
Finally.
How long has that been? 2 years? What's it since it's
actually
actually
broken forever? Now here's a good thing, right? I mean, both the first one and the last one were part of that bug fix drive. We started, like, remember that thread I started in the TFC, and I know a similar thread was started in other pages, and we started feeding the list of most annoying bugs directly to a lead developer at KixEye.
Yeah.
The first and the last came from that list, and so it makes me really happy that KixEye is listening on that front as well and fixing bugs that degrade the user experience. So it makes me happy.
Yeah, it is good news. I've added one last slide, which is not it's not on the PDF, but I will redo the PDF where I upload it before Liam loads the this video, so you can watch it again if you choose to, or watch it later for those that haven't watched it yet. And this is Ren's slide. The last time it was really good, so he's added the spike, I think, this time too. Take it away, mate.
Yeah, it's a bit blurry. I'll get a better picture for you, but
okay.
Yeah, so I just added the spike to that table. I mean, I've circulated that table before, and again, it just shows that still, I think the two best damage types to use in base defense are ballistic and concussive. If you take a look at it, they are the two damage types in your base defense that affect the biggest amount of ships in there. The spike now, you see it's weak against concussive and it's weak against penetrating, and that's why Liam was saying anyone with a fair number of that are executioners or like a lot of people using rhinos or protodons in their base defense. Yeah, it will hurt the spikes big time, and there's nothing else you need to do. I mean, if you already have that in your base, just keep it there. The minigun turret also hurts them a lot. Right, so I think you put a mix of everything, and you know, the radioactive damage is not a very good one to use overall, but still works in the Vanquishers, mostly because of shockwaves if you're using antipodes, and minimum damage, right? If you're using the Cyclones, they just hit so often and so hard, so many of them, that even doing minimum damage, you still kill ships, right? Pretty much. But I think overall focus on ballistic, concussive, and corrosive for frontline turrets, and explosive and penetrating for your backline turrets and ships. Ballistic ships help as well. I mean, the gamma to help the gamma.
Yeah. So you basically just added one more row on the.
Yeah, one more line. Just again.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. That's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you give me the Excel, mate, or a better picture, then I'll put that into this slide pack first. I probably blew this up too big, I think, but.
Yeah.
And that'll be good.
No
and that ends it on there, basically. One thing I'll just do before I close the slide pack down, I'll just ask, I've had a couple of discussions this week with a couple of, I've been babysitting quite a bit, actually, this week. If you're being attacked, and you're being attacked by a fleet or a hull ticket that you may not have, I suggest you go and read the whole stat before you throw accusations, because it's not very pleasant to suck it up later on when you realise how wrong you are. So if someone's coming into your base like with a ghost crawler, and you don't even know it can deep dive, and then you're calling somebody a hacker just because they've gone past one of your thermal ships, that's fine by me, and report me if you really want to and that sort of stuff. But maybe you want to read the blueprint first. It's up to you.
Why would you warn them there? I feed off that hate mail.
Well, I don't do hate mail, and I was very polite in responding.
It sounds like Mark's butt hurt. Mark, are you butt hurt?
Well,
oh, Mark, have you got your first hater?
I don't normally get hate mail and that sort of stuff. I'm normally a helpful sort of chap, and I was trying to be helpful, and then it got angry, and then he got upset, mad. So I just blocked him. It's just I can't be doing with it. My life's enough hassle as it is. Don't hate me just because I'm better.
Are you trying to say don't hate the player, hate the game?
Hate the game, yeah. So in that instance, unfortunately, that person didn't have the hole and didn't know how to do it. So but read the print for goodness sake.
Can we not talk about ghost crawlers?
Oh, you're not in the ghost crawler club, Stu. Is that what you're trying to say?
5 yards away.
Me and Mark have been around for like two.
I forgot about that.
Are you missing 5 shards, mate?
No,
I
have my ghost crawler. Who doesn't have a ghost crawler? Everyone here has a ghost crawler.
You can piss off then.
Brian's not going to comment. I'll tell you that now.
I thought that was part of the.
I'm not commenting either.
Part of the recruitment process for the admin panel is to have a ghost crawler.
Yeah, but I'm beautiful, so you let me in anyway.
There was a black hood put over my head, and I woke up in a field 2 days later. That's what the recruitment process was.
Brian, no one's supposed to know about that.
Mate, I think that was a different show, maybe. Yeah. Because that didn't happen to me.
That was the after show.
We won't name the show.
All's good. In love and war.
But that's another story. Okay, guys. Well, have you guys covered the slides? Is there any more things that you wanted to talk about this week?
I believe we wanted to mention spike builds, didn't we?
We did want to talk about spike builds, but I don't know if has anyone prepared a spike build. I know I certainly haven't.
We put two up on our page.
I prepared one that's loaded in our website, but it's more like it's on the page.
Okay, I mean, unless, I originally did want to discuss the spike, but I feel that we had we already had quite a lot to go over, so maybe we could just start a discussion about it on the Facebook group and post some builds up there.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
Ben started a thread about it. Ben, aka Husky.
Yeah,
right. A whole bunch of people posted in there. I posted my build. A whole bunch of people posted theirs, and a lot of good ideas flowing. Mm-hmm. So let's keep it there.
Yeah, and that's to anyone in the chat there as well. If anyone wants to come and show us your build, or at least discuss your build, then pop in and have a chat. But it's that time of the show where I say thanks to everyone for coming out and watching and the support from the community, and thanks to all the wonderful admins. You did all the work tonight. I was kind of quiet in the shadows, but I appreciate.
Be honest,
it.
What happened tonight, mate? Be honest. Say it. Go on. You had an old man's kip and you overslept.
Look, I had an afternoon nap. All right? I was tired. It's been a busy day, and I had a kip.
And he's had a bad hair day. Come on, leave him wake up.
No, I woke up
in his pajamas.
I woke up about 10 p.m. and there wasn't enough time to do my hair, so I just had to come.
I didn't hear that. Oh my! I didn't have time to do my hair.
No, there wasn't enough time to get up, have a shower, do my hair, and prepare myself for the show.
Wow, I'm not commenting.
I'm feeling like third-party shame right now. I'm
I
for Liam.
I had to just make a coffee and come on. But if it makes you guys feel any better, I'm going to go and have a shower now. Okay?
It doesn't.
Thanks for that.
You know what, Liam? You need to keep your life simple. You need hair like mine. Look at my hair. My hair doesn't move. You see? It's like a helmet.
It looks like it's been drawn on.
Exactly. It's almost like a tattoo, right?
Zero maintenance.
Zero maintenance. I could try that, but see, yeah, I guess I could try that. I'm just into the goo right now. What can I say?
That is probably not the best thing you've ever said. It's probably time to go.
Yeah, I know. Well, we've got to keep it. Got to keep it going. So, guys, before I derail and say even more crazy things, thank you all for coming out tonight, and we will see you for Saturday's show.
They're the Crazy Fools.
Yeah, so we're going to have a VXP weekend, and we're maybe going to try something new on the open mics, where we want to try and we're going to look to maybe bring in a different people that we don't speak to every week. And please don't take that out of context. I really appreciate the people that come into the open mics each weekend, but I'm trying to rotate it so I can get as many different views as possible and see. I certainly want to speak to. At the moment, I'm looking to get some feedback from players that are a little bit fed up with the game. Not fed up with the game like being all negative, but kind of borderline, not sure if they want to continue. I'm really interested in hearing that opinion, and I know a few people from Kicks are too. So if there's anyone in that kind of position that wants to come on to Saturday's open mic, PM me, and let's have a little bit of a chat about that. But other than that,
and don't be shy. Don't be shy, people. Nobody's going to be put in an awkward position there.
Yeah, we only use the black bags for Brian. So
yeah.
We just want to broaden the perspective of the show.
I'm glad you got something in the bag, Brian. It's got to have something every week.
So on that note, guys, well thanks everyone, and we'll see you on Saturday.
Take care all.
Have a good night, everybody.
Goodbye.